Hey, what's up, Shining Otaku? This is your host, Irvin and Broxy. And this is Shining Spotlight, the show where we highlight creatives in the industry in order to inspire you guys. We have an ambitious and multifaceted creator today. He has several manga works through his company, Akachi Comics, mostly known for Extraordinary Mosiah and Voidbeast, especially Voidbeast. He has even created comics and mangas convention known as Sable Con, and he's even worked on developing an Animanga for Voidbeast. Today, we welcome the incredible Matthew Jones to the show. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming on. I've been waiting to have you on for like a minute.
Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate you reaching out and stuff, man. I know we've been trying to do it for a while, but I'm glad we're making it happen.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like, it's funny because when I seen you recently at Motor City Black Age, I'm like, man, why have we not done this? Because I remember last time I seen you, I said the same thing, you know, about like us actually going through and doing this. But man, first off, for any of the audience maybe who's not familiar with Voidbeast, let me show you. It's probably one of the most out cold comics you can actually see. You know, I mean, the covers that I end up seeing to a lot of this work is just so dope. And then this is the Extraordinary Mosiah. So tell us a little bit about how you got on your comics journey. And then, of course, I really want to hear about how you came up with Voidbeast and, you know, just tell the audience a little bit about it.
Yeah. So everything started, it was about the time I was working at GameStop for a while. I worked there for like 10 years almost. Early 2000s, stuff like that. And I have been writing stuff down. So I'm really into horror. That's really my thing. And I haven't really dove into writing it. So I had a story with like a vampire, werewolf, and the usual stuff. And then my issue was that I didn't like vampires like that. So I'm like, why am I writing? I don't even like vampires. Like just so I like the werewolf.
Wait, hold on. You don't like vampires?
No, I know. I don't like the vampires that are presented most of the time. Like I liked Blade, and I like the vampires in Blade. I watched most of True Blood, but I didn't really I like the characters, but I was like, the vampire part. It's just.
So what you're telling me is you get down with the vampires in Twilight, then?
No, I hate them. I hate them. I had a hard time with everything in Twilight. The vampires, the werewolves, everything. I was just like, what is happening? Like, what is she? That's a whole nother tangent that I'm gonna just go off on. So let me bring it back. So I did that, and then I was just like, okay, let me just focus on the werewolf thing. And then I was working at GameStop and stuff, and I was like, well, let me figure out how to do this writing thing and stuff. So I started off with an ebook, and I had my homie Stephanie help me out with writing and stuff like that. So we started off with an ebook, and it was just a straight ebook. And so I was like, okay, I got the book, and then I need a cover or something. Like I don't have a cover or anything. And I happened to reach out to a great artist. His name is Mike Tony. He was really doing.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen his stuff on Instagram. Actually,
yep. He do a lot on Instagram, and I had reached out to Mike Tony, and so I was like, "Yeah, I need a cover." And we did it and came up with it, and then so I put it out. In the first book, it was a whole bunch of look at this manga. This is only wait, it's not a manga. It's just an ebook. There's no pictures in it, and everybody kept thinking that because of the style of art that he did. And so me and him did like 4, 5 more covers, something like that, all for the ebook. And then I kept getting, check out the manga. It's a graphic novel. It's a manga. It's a graphic. Like, it's not that. It's not that. So finally I decided to look up artists and stuff and went through the whole process, seen the first 10 pages like 10 different times from 10 different artists and stuff. I don't even know what I did with most of them pages. I probably could find them somewhere.
So you had an assortment with different artists that were working on.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure it out because it was either
it
was either that it didn't quite fit what I wanted, or they would start, they would disappear, or they would start, or they would have to move or something.
The journey of a writer. Oh my goodness! I'll just say I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I was there, and I was just like, oh my god, this isn't gonna work. And then finally, my last dude, he had to Rexy Jones. He had to move from the Philippines to Canada. But I was like, okay, man, I understand. I ain't mad about that because I don't ever feel like I own anybody's stuff. You work with somebody else, you got to go do something else. Hey, it is what it is. It's life. We got to get this money, and some folks we don't get opportunities like that, so we take them. And so he said, I got somebody, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then he introduced me to Francis, and Francis is the artist that's done all of Voidbeast books. So me and Francis were both just learning and doing our thing, even though he was better at art than I was at writing and stuff. And so we just got better over time. And so that's how it started with Voidbeast. And it was always just a thing where I wanted to tell a story with a werewolf, and I took out the vampire part, and I just was like, okay, do the werewolf. They're not mindless and crazy. Vampires aren't busting them over the head, and they're not any kind of subjugation to vampires. So that was my main goal with the story. And I kind of just focused on that. But then now there's a bunch of other stuff I need to make happen. But when I first started, that was my main thing. So that was, and then his powers, being able to control dark matter, stuff like that. But the main thing was, do not have him subjugated by vampires, and don't make him a mindless beast. So that's what was going on with TJ and the other werewolves from Voidbeast.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Francis get like a Glyph Award, or nominated at least for a Glyph Award? I could be wrong, but I for some reason remember something like that happening. For Voidbeast.
I don't remember off top. Was it that? I when it comes to awards, I am not the best. Like I've got awards for like the animations. I'm like, yeah, and then I just forget. So people always remind me, be like, hey, you won the awards and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah.
I feel like you're going to tell me one day, be like, did I get an Eisner? I don't know. Did I get one? I think I got 3.
I guess it's something like that. I just, it's just easier for me to focus on the work and keep doing the stuff that I'm doing, the hard part. Like I can do that. The other stuff, I'll let everybody else handle that. All of that stuff, I'll let everybody else handle that.
Oh yeah. So when it comes to even like the writing portion and actually having to, dive into the material, what does your process look like? For people who are like aspiring to do something like this, because a lot of us in this space, we might start off trying to figure it out, and we're trying, and there may not be like a set rule book, on how to do this specifically for this kind of work. So like, where was your starting point?
Mine was from me and Stephanie just kind of, and it's changed, but it's still the same. I would just kind of write out stuff, and then Stephanie would clean it up for me. And then I would do where I started writing out more, and then she would clean up certain things for me. And so with Voidbeast, that was one of those collaborative things. With the Extraordinary Mosiah, I was doing a lot. I did all the writing myself. So I would do all the writing, and that's still one of my favorite ones, Extraordinary Mosiah, because I did all the writing on both, like myself, for both books and stuff. And
now you mentioned Stephanie. So does Stephanie have like editor like expertise, or what is
Stephanie does everything from editing, the co-writing, stuff like that. So she was.
I'm trying to think of the Stephanie that I've seen or heard a lot about. I'm not sure. Is this Stephanie Williams by chance?
No. Klein.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. I've been hearing a lot about Stephanie Williams. I was like, oh shit.
No.
Okay.
So I would do all of that, but I would do different things. Like some of my books, I'd write all of them myself. Then I would get help. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I look at the process now, and now that I'm doing like the animation stuff and doing everything, I think I think we on the indie level, we get fooled by a lot of stuff. We get fooled by, hey, you got to be good, you got to be this, and you got to be that, and it has to be like this. And you ain't a writer if you ain't doing this. When you look at the people that's doing certain things, some of the best, some from video games to movies to everything, they have teams of people that they're writing with. They have teams of people, they have groups of people that they're writing with. Some of them just come up with ideas and somebody else just straightens it all out. So what I'm saying more than anything is wherever you fit in at, do what's best for you. Me personally, I am definitely and since I've started drawing like myself, I find that I'm definitely an idea person, and then I can put those ideas down, and then I personally like to write out a bunch of stuff and then work with somebody else to straighten it out. That's what I've been.
So you like the heavy like editorial like process, kind of like how they do a little bit in Japan. Because are you familiar with like how the Japanese usually kind of do it, where the editor works very closely with the writers?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that kind of more akin to your process? Basically, does Stephanie act as like kind of like almost like, you know, your direct editor, where, you know, you guys are kind of almost, it's more of a collaborative thing?
Yeah, it was like that. It was like that back then, and then she would do, because when I first started, I didn't have a lot of confidence, so she would do most of the stuff, and then over time, I started getting more confidence into what I was doing, and then I started doing more of the writing and the bulk of things. But she was always there to really just change and get things together. So, but then on Extraordinary Mosiah, that was all of me, and then the second book, I worked with my man Zach and let me see. Hold on. I got the book here. Zach and who's my other guy? Who's my other man at? Dang. No, I don't have the second book here with me. I forgot.
You know what's funny? I wish I had, you know, my copy of Voidbeast. I said to you right before, you know, we got on here, I was like, dang, where's my copy? And I'm like, it's somewhere, you know, it's either amongst all my manga, you know, or, you know, my friend studio mate, Che, you know, he might have it.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of different, it's funny, you mentioned, you know, like Rexy. Rexy's also like one of my studio, or recently he became one of my studio mates, you know, when you mentioned him.
Yeah, Rexy is. I love his art. I love his art.
Oh yeah, Rexy's dope. You know, I'm like, and then what else is I gonna ask? Oh, now I know what I was gonna say. So like when it comes to art influences, even like obviously because you started trying to draw yourself, you know, where have you been drawing inspiration for that?
A little bit of everywhere actually. It's been a thing where like from like the Mega Man series.
Which Mega Man series though? Because you know, there's Mega Man got different styles too.
Yeah,
you have like
I know both from X and regular Mega Man.
I always prefer Mega Man X. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because it's got more the anime type of look, you know, like the X series. Because I can remember, like even as a kid, I played like some of the X games, and I mean, I have them now like on my Switch. I don't really play them like that, but I do have them. And I remember when I wanted to download them, I'm looking like, man, I'm looking Mega Man. I'm like, this is not the Mega Man I played, but it was the other Mega Man. And that's why I found out there was a difference between X and the rest of them.
Yeah, I grew up with it. So I seen that switch happen in middle school. So I was like, oh, okay. Mega Man X. All right, then. I don't know what's going on here. In the first game, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I seen it happen. But yeah, man, it's that Kentaro Miura, I'm not good with names off top. The Full Metal Alchemist artist, and I've been.
I know you're talking about. Yeah,
I was like, I forget her name, and it's like I've read that book. I've read the new one that's coming out. I done forgot the name of the story too. Demons of the Shadow Realm. They got the new anime that's gonna come out. I was reading that book about a year or so ago. So I've been off and on with that. The old stuff like Ninja Scrolls still. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Araki is still one of my favorites. So he's been one of my big influences, even though I can't draw nothing like that.
Have you read Araki's book?
Yeah, I've read it. I've read it. That was one of the first things I read. That was a big inspiration for the Extraordinary Messiah. Like I had that fresh in my mind when I was writing the Extraordinary Messiah. So a bunch of the My Hero Academia series, all of that. So it's a little bit of everything art wise. But for me, I've realized like I try to do certain things, but man, I've had to dial it back and really focus on, like they say, just focus on the basic stuff. And since I've been taking more like
the fundamentals of art and fundamentals of writing.
Yeah. So I've been same thing with writing. That's why I haven't really put anything out for the current one I'm working with, just kind of like testing stuff here and there. Because there's a lot of stuff that I missed on my old stories that I'm like, okay, I understand now. And I need to make sure I hit that certain points in storytelling mechanics that I really want to make sure that I get. And even with the art, it was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and they'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna just slow down and draw these boxes and these shapes and stuff over and over again until I can get it right. And taking animation courses has been helpful for me with that and stuff too. So the inspiration has came from any and everything. It can come from wrestling, it can come from whatever, it can come from people outside, a little bit of everything.
Okay, so like when you're working and collaborating with, like, for example, like with like Francis, like working on it, and you have to send, I'm assuming you send them a script, or do you guys do it more of like the Marvel method?
No, I send them scripts. That's what I've been doing the whole time. Because now, if I remember correctly, the Marvel method is more of just kind of synopsis, right? Like, hey, this is that happening, this, that,
yeah,
blam, do your thing. So I've mainly done scripts, but then there's parts where I just kind of throw that out and then they'll get to it when it's like certain things that I may not like, character designs and stuff like that. So that would be, I do that sometimes with character designs. But as far as all the stuff that I've had, we've done scripts. But the thing about it is, like, for me, when I'm working with somebody, if I'm paying this person and I'm working with them, for me, I trust you. Like, I've seen your stuff enough to be like, I trust this person with what they're doing. So I just kind of let them do their thing. So if we come up with something and the script say this, and they say, well, I did this, but this might flow better. If it makes sense within something that the character does and it makes sense for what I'm known for, or what I want to be known for, or what I want to put out in the world, then go crazy. Just do what you're going to do. Because I'm not going to hire you and then nitpick just because that's who I am. I don't want to nitpick and stuff, because if I have to, I don't need to be hiring you. And so I'm not doing this to nitpick and watch over everything a person's doing. So I let them kind of do their thing and how they feel, because it's just as much theirs as it is mine. If we all working together, bringing this world that neither one of us has fully created come to life.
Oh yeah, it's like Mark, and just for the audience, I'm talking about Mark Dudley. Mark Dudley's my teacher. He always talks about how it's with comics, it's a marriage, between writing and art. So I like the fact that you mentioned that. So given the fact that, obviously, you've been at this for a little bit, what inspired you to want to do like an Animanga? Because I think that's something that's a bit different of a challenge. I don't see a lot of people in this space try to take on. Like, what goes into creating something like that?
Finding the person to do it, that it makes sense, and then money wise and stuff too, that it makes sense. But you know what? I'm treating everything that I've been doing, especially now, I'm treating it all as me learning. Like this isn't something that, and I think about this a lot. This isn't something that I'm doing to try to get a bunch of money quick. This is long term. This is long term. And I may not ever get picked up by nobody or anything, and I'm fine with that. But if I can do all the things myself and fund them myself, I can learn how to do animation. I can work with people to put the stuff together. I can keep people together, and we can make a few things and get the stuff out and get it completed. Then to me, I'm doing fine. And I can get it to the people myself without having to rely on other people. Not that I don't want to work with other people, because everything that I've done has been with other people. Everything, I haven't done any of this by myself, and I have no intentions to. I have no intentions to do this by myself and act like I'm the one that's running around. No, I'm not doing it. I'd much rather learn everything that I can with the process of animation, and that's why I've taken animation classes and doing stuff as well, so I can learn the proper terms. I can learn the proper production pipeline and stuff like that. All of these things that if it's time for me to do the thing and I'm working with other people that understand it, we can really get it to where I would like to. So that's whether that's just here in local theaters in the city I'm in, get it bigger or whatever the case may be, YouTube, sharing, all that stuff. All of that matters. So I treat everything from the books to what I'm doing as a learning experience, and also to see which one I feel most comfortable in, because the main thing is storytelling. Like everything that all of us are doing, no matter you like the person, don't like the person, it's good, it's bad, it's whatever, all of it is storytelling and entertainment. So I'm trying to figure out which medium I feel best in and I feel most comfortable in, and then also which one will be the most profitable for me and the team. And I feel like the animangas and the animation is harder. And so one of my things has been, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be hard, so let me figure out how to do that. So whether it's me coming up with the ideas or me doing some of the animations or just project managing with everybody else, and me putting everybody where they feel best at and where they can work best at, then let me figure out how to do that so that I understand what's going on. And when the hard things come up, I can say, I know how to do that. I can do that. And I've went through it myself. I've spent money on myself. So it's not too much of a problem. At least that's my mindset with all of it.
No, I like that. Being, as I said, even in our intro, being multifaceted, being able to have a little bit in your toolbox for everything, it also probably makes it to where you're able to, have those conversations with, people in the industry more effectively, because you have a little bit of experience what they're doing, even if you're not doing it to the same depth in some cases, you still know a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Is that accurate or?
Yeah. Okay. And the thing is, like, I think that with a lot of stuff that's going on also is that my reasoning behind it also is that I want to know a little bit of everything and I can talk to people about it, but that there's that window of this is what was going on. I've been talking about in my mind and with my ladies in my family. It's been a thing where I've been talking about a lot of the stuff that it used to be that we thought was going to happen. Like, hey, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to get picked up by Marvel. Then I'm going to get a TV show. Those, even though there's more ways to have it, more streaming and everything else, that window has closed a lot more. And it's a thing where we're focusing on an old, antiquated system trying to do a thing, when in front of us, if we're willing to put in the work, you can get all that stuff yourself. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. You're going to have all the money to do it. You're going to find all the people, and you're going to have to do all that. But you can get all that stuff out yourself to the point where it gives you more of an understanding of a thing. And this is just my philosophy too. If I do these things and have this better understanding, when it's time for me to go to these people, I don't need as much from you. I don't need to hit you over the head to make you do as much, because I got a team in place that we can make things happen. I don't need you to spend money on the animation of my books and stuff, because I got a team for that. Now, we can work out whatever to make it better if you want it better, but we can work within what we have and stuff too, if you're willing to work with that. But I think that relying on, hey, I'm gonna get this and then they're gonna give me the money, that's not, unless that's one out of a couple million when you can do the thing yourself. You can learn the stuff, you can find the people, whether it's in groups, whether it's at schools, whether it's I recommend a lot of people start finding people locally in your own city, because they're there. Trust me, they're there. You just got to go out and find them, and do the thing so that you can make it happen for yourself on a small level. We're not talking about big, whatever. Your level may be different from somebody else's, but once you start being able to understand more about what's going on and do it yourself, I really think this society and where we're going is going to be set up for that a lot more with the internet and everything, being able to do it yourself and have a lot more of it completed and understand what's happening in that production pipeline, so that when it's time for you to get called up, it'll be easier for you because they ain't got to spend as much money or they ain't got to spend as much time coaching you on everything, and you can keep it rolling. But this just could be me talking crazy. I'm just a random dude on the internet. So it is what it is.
Oh no, on here, this is Shining Spotlight. You know, you are the teacher for everyone here. You know. Now, before, because I actually wanted to touch on a little bit more of what you were just saying about, you know, kind of like as it pertains to what's the specific thing I'm going to say? I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to think of how I want to frame it. I'm just going to say, like, more so, I want to ask you about like other groups, and not like, I don't want to give any specifics, but just about like self-growth, like people trying to entrepreneur for themselves, you know, when it comes to comics. But before I get to that, I want to first play Voidbeast so people can see what you have been working on. You know, I'm going to play the trailer, and then we'll come back, and then we'll be in the second half of this, and, you know, we'll get into some more heavy hitting stuff. So just bear with us just for one moment, folks. Take a look at this trailer, and we'll see you in a moment.
There have been several sporadic cases of attacks against TJ's wolf pack, but no one has gotten a clear view of the attacker. Just a voice from the shadows saying that
the Void King will return.
TJ has finally been able to track the attacker down, and will find out if it's truly one of his own kind.
Feels like I've been fighting forever, but I had to keep it away from the other wolves. I don't even know why we were attacked. I hope they recover, but those wounds look serious. You're here! I want answers! Why'd you hurt my friends?
A pup like you giving orders? Funny, you have a lot to learn.
Learn? From you? Who are you?
An ancestor! Pup! Classes in second kid. Call me friendly.
Ancestor? Nah, I'm the only Voidbeast alive.
All right, well, that was a trailer from the Voidbeast Animanga, guys. Mm-hmm. So now that we're back, I'm gonna ask you, you know, something, I guess more so an industry question. So, you know, of course, now only the people I've really seen, I'm gonna say in recent time, and there probably are a lot more people out there who are doing things that I'm not aware of. So I want to make sure I say it to the audience. But the only other group that I've seen that has done like maybe like an Animanga, you know, in like kind of like the indie manga space I've seen as the Eerie Descent guys, Simon and Pedro, Blaze. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh my guys.
Yeah, you know,
I see them every year. I go to whenever I go to Texas, I got to make sure I get up with them and talk with them a little bit. Those are my guys.
Oh yeah, I like them too. I'm like, you know, they've been on the show before as well. Like it's been a while, but one thing that I'm amazed about is that not only the amount of time that it goes in, but I hear about how hard it is to be able to do, you know, something like this. So like I look at like the past, I'm gonna say maybe I mean, it's probably been a little longer, but I'm going to say the past 10 years, and you've had a lot of different manga groups kind of pop up, and people who are trying to get down into the nitty gritty of this. What is your opinion on the state of the community? I don't want to get into like specifics. I mean, you can if you want to, but like, how do you feel about the state of manga as it pertains to the English speaking audience and indie creators?
I think it's wild to me, because a lot of it is kind of copying what we see in Japan and stuff like that. And one of the things that I hear from a lot of the creators and stuff from Japan and authors and even some editors and stuff, a lot of them are like, hey, don't do what's in Japan. don't copy what we're doing here, and especially like storytelling wise. Don't copy what we're doing. Create your own thing and make it with your own culture or whatever the case may be, to kind of give it that special feel, and we go from there. But I think a lot of it at the end of the day also is a lot of people trying, like they're trying to figure out how to do it. Because the thing about it is, like, a lot of us got other stuff going on, like especially when it comes to manga. It's not like manga is just this thing that no matter where you're at, it's not like manga is just this thing that's just making a whole bunch of money hand over fist. Not even in Japan. Like just writing it and doing the art, it's not like it's just making tons of money and stuff. So I think it's people trying to figure it out, and I'm not mad at that. I don't get into the, is it good? Is this? I don't really get into that, because no matter what somebody says, no matter what somebody says, and they talk about something is good, they can rate it, they can give it numbers, they can do all kind of other mess. But it's like, at the end of the day, we see a whole bunch of stuff that just is mediocre to some and great to others. Heck, you can go on any forum right now and they will argue you down about something that is, to me, would be objectively bad. And they will argue you down, fight you, call you names, and everything for it. And somehow this stuff gets greenlit, people get paid to do it, and all kind of other stuff. So for me, I always tell people, I'm the kid that's going to tell you that Santa Claus ain't real. So the opposite is, if you're telling me that this thing needs to be this, and it needs to be this, and the structure needs to be this way, and it needs to read that way, okay, then why do I have all these other examples of stuff that's not like that and it's doing well? And the stuff that hit all those points, nobody's reading. So I feel like, and I know I kind of went off on another rant, but when I bring it back, is that I think it's a lot of people in the industry that's trying, and we're all trying to figure out, because there's no uniform American like manga creation or anything. Most of it is just a bunch of like Wild West stuff, where there's a group here, there's somebody that's really good at art here, there's somebody that's doing something here. And
so do you think that the community hasn't really fully cemented itself yet, if that makes any sense, like in the comics culture?
It hasn't. It hasn't. And it's not going to for a few years, because America ain't even trying to cement anything with manga. They really ain't. It's the stuff in Japan. We're gonna draw from whatever over there. And they ain't even like the old people that, and we talk about like higher up in the industry. I'm not talking about necessarily the indie side. Even the higher ups in the industry, they don't even believe in it like that. With everything that's going on, the only thing we'll get is, hey, let's turn the Joker name into anime-ish style cartoons and stuff. They ain't no money into really bringing nothing in, like in having the good storytellers truly adapt anything or anything like that. It's like
so manga is basically like a gimmick, basically.
In America, they still kind of see it like that, even with the money that's being made. Mm-hmm. Look at the stuff that they do with the shows. The shows turn into live action mess. This not good. The One Piece one was okay. That wasn't bad. I didn't have a problem with that. It was a little silly, but I was like, okay, this ain't bad. This isn't horrible like some of this other stuff. And I think America, because of the way because for instance, and I know I'm going off.
Oh no, go ahead.
The people that run these companies, like animation departments and stuff, you realize that most of those are the same people that were running it from the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's the same people. They're old. They didn't see the importance of anime and manga back in the day. That's why we had it on weird channels like Sci-Fi Channel early in the morning. Then we got it Sci-Fi Channel midday. Then you got it at Toonami and all this other stuff. And it was just kind of like relegated over there. And or it was early in the morning before you went to school, like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And when they would show, I would see Dragon Ball like at 5, 6 in the morning before I went to school. That Ronin Warriors and stuff. And so they don't see it as important. And then fast forward to now, even with stuff like Demon Slayer outpacing everything else, it's still like, it's just.
So there probably needs to be like eventually like a change of hands if people really want to see.
It's going to have to come to that. And that's just, and then so even with manga, even with I kind of, they're the same but different but the same, only different type thing. But even with manga, they don't see the real importance of it. Even with the storytelling, even with manga outpacing American comics, you still don't see them bring any of these people in. You don't see them try to change their storytelling format. You don't see them try to learn anything. Nothing. So America got this whole thing was like, we got it. It's fine. And the other stuff is just that for now. So I think it's a thing where people at the bottom, going back to the indie side, keep trying and keep doing your thing and keep finding your way. Because my thing is, again, I know there's certain things structurally that folks need to have and you got to know and all that other stuff. But again, there's too many examples of people that don't have it that are doing great. And I don't understand how. Because according to y'all, you got to be this way. Not you. Just according to random people under there, it has to be this way and it has to hit these points. But I would say keep learning and keep doing your thing on the indie side and keep creating and have your stuff together. Because when they come knocking, if you have your stuff together, and it's like, I've been able, going back to what I was saying earlier, hey, I've done this. I've put these teams together. I've worked with people this way. I have these stories. We've done this many things, or we've done this many stories, or we've done an animation. I've had this many Kickstarters, or I've sold this many. When they come to need those things, and if that's what you want to do, where you go work with somebody or whatever the case may be, you'll be in place and you won't be nervous because you've already done the things that you needed to do on your own time. So when somebody else just come knocking and saying, hey, we need you to do, it's like, I can do that in my sleep. I done put myself through all this training already. So that's how I see it. I want people to keep trying. And again, I'm not the one to tell you what's good or not. I'm just not, because I feel like there's too many examples of things that aren't that. And I think you need to keep trying because there's no one right way to do any of this. They'll tell you that you got to this and you got to send out you got to make this many books and they got to be good and all this. But then people will get picked up from just drawing and writing bios and stuff on the internet. No whole book, no team management, no nothing. They ain't did none of it, but they got bios and pictures of the characters on the internet, and then they writing other stories for Marvel, DC, or movies and stuff. So how you?
That's true. That actually is true. I've seen that.
I've seen it, and not that the stuff is bad. Whether it was good, bad, or whatever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is no solid way of doing this thing. There is no solid way. So if somebody's telling you they a goddamn lie. And I'm sorry if I can't be foul. I ain't gonna be too foul, but it's just it's bothersome sometimes with the community. So I say everybody keep trying, man. I know they tell you it got to be this and your story got to be that, but keep trying and keep doing because we don't know what's the surefire way to do any of this. So that's how I see it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you say that because I feel like universally I've heard from all different parts of the industry, at least when it comes to manga, in terms of how people even try to tackle it, we're talking specifically, let's say in the United States, that you still have a lot of people emulating what they enjoy. Like, I'm gonna say like it's almost like they're a fan first more than they are like trying to create something original.
Mhm.
And I think people are trying to figure it out like you are, like somehow how you, or not how you are, but you get what I'm trying to say, like how you were saying. I agree with you on that. But I guess what I would wonder is that at what point maybe will we, even if it's like you say for years, like what point may we end up seeing that turn? What is it going to take? Is there going to be like a massive shift all of a sudden where there's going to be like a spark? I guess that's what comes into question. But like when you see like when you see, for example, different conventions pop up, like I know me and you talked a little bit about when I saw you like DreamCon.
Yeah.
And there's a huge DreamCon has a massive push, more so their selling point is a lot of the anime influencers. Do you think that the anime nerd culture doesn't care enough about manga, or only sees manga as a tool to kind of push anime, even though they're two different mediums?
I mean, it is. It really is. I think looking at a lot of it, on average, most people care about, and not. This is one of the things where I complain and I hate on a lot of things, but this isn't one of those things. This is just saying what it is. A lot of people just relate to and can get into that where you hear, you see, you get to think about it, animation and stuff, because it gets more senses to me. Whether we like it or not, it just is what it is. And I think animation really pushes the books, because a lot of the books like
merchandise, how people say Dragon Ball now is pretty much just a big toy commercial. Like whenever that's
but it's like it's always been that. It's always been that. Not from Toriyama specifically, not from him. It was a story that he evolved over time and just kept doing. You know what I'm saying?
I almost feel like Dragon Ball became, I mean, it probably was always that, but like I think as far as people over here in the States have been paying attention to it, which is in the Dragon Ball Z days, because it can't, when I feel like it's always been that since then. But probably maybe if somebody was in Japan in the 80s, maybe it wasn't that as much then.
I say that because that's what, like back in the day, that's what a lot of the stuff was. Animation was to like push toys, push the books, stuff like that. Because for the most part, anime wise and even cartoon wise, like studying the industry and stuff, it's not like a lot of the creators get paid from that. Like in America, the movies and stuff, or doing certain things, you may get a deal from it, but you may not get these big old chunks of money. But you'll get more money from the back sales of your book and stuff like that. So it's used for that. And even in anime, I think they were saying the lady that did Demon Slayer, it wasn't like it's been selling and movies been going all kind of crazy, but it ain't like she was getting a whole bunch of money. It was like, I think I only got
I remember hearing about that. That to me was really weird, because
that's the thing. It's like the book sales from those what they call them, tankobons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you get some money from that and everything, but from that, no, not until a certain amount of time goes by. So it's this weird thing. So I think that toys and all of that, that's what a lot of them feel like, can we recoup this money? Because when these companies get it, it's like, how are we going to recoup this money? And that's the business end of a lot of it. So I think all of them, most of them, there has to be some type of merchandise, toys, and all kind of other stuff that's going to be going along with it. Am I saying that that's what they're created for? When somebody like you, me, Toriyama, and other people created, like, I'm gonna sell a bunch of toys. It's like, no, on average, no. It comes later. It might come later because you're like, man, I want to see this and have these things. But no, so no, I don't think that. I think I went off somewhere. And what was your original question, to be clear?
I'm trying to remember what it was myself. I think more so in terms of I'm actually trying to remember where, because I'm just flowing with the conversation with this one. You know, I'm trying to remember exactly, where I was trying to take that. We'll just come back to that.
Okay.
If it comes up. But I know one thing that I kind of want to know about too is that with obviously, you've been at this for a little bit, in terms of coming up with different stories and, obviously being consistent with doing comics is not an easy thing, are there any projects out there or anybody out there that you actually even would want to collaborate with, who may even be well-known in the industry?
Right now,
it could even be a company.
Right now, no. Right now, and it's not because I think I'm better than or anything. Right now, it's just been a bunch of other stuff outside of like the comics and stuff that I got to kind of focus on. And then even within, it's been, okay, how am I going to make this? Because I've been working on my story Ashbreaker, the one that I've been drawing the character for and everything. And I see, like, it's weird trying to do this art thing and write it because I'm used to the writing, or it is weird. So I'm like, I don't know how exactly I feel about this. And not that it's bad, or it's just like, I find myself going back and forth with myself about what I'm going to put out, how the character is going to be seen. And then even since I'm not that great at the art thing, it's been well, not that great. I'm still practicing. I'm still learning. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put this out, but then I'm like, no, this ain't gonna work. Hey, I'm gonna do these pages, and then I'll do them, and I'm like, no, this isn't gonna work. So I'm finding out that I may have to, because of some other things going on, I may have to go back to what I know. But since and what I know means writing or building a team to make this thing happen, and then putting it out that way. But I may have to do that. But that's the way it's been interesting, to say the least, because I'm figuring out that when I draw the character, I have something in mind, but then when I write it, sometimes it doesn't fit with what I drew or the world that I've come up with. And so I have to switch everything and put it back together to make it all make sense. And I feel like each day and each month I'm getting better at making all of that stuff align with the characters and putting it together. And so that's why with this one, with Ashbreaker, I've been leaning more toward the animation side, doing the shorter little animated pieces and stuff that I do from the art that I create, so that I can see my art moving and stuff. And it's helped me out a lot, because I'm like, okay, I feel like that character is this, or this character would embody this more, even though I have them being shy and quiet. It looks like from the way they move, they'll be a little bit more outgoing. So I have to change that. So that's what's been going on lately.
So obviously for the past few years too, AI has been a pretty controversial kind of topic, in the community. And I think recently Jim Lee just made sure that he came out and, I believe at New York Comic-Con, and, kind of said that they're not going to support AI, in comics, as far as DC is concerned. How do you feel about AI in the industry? And what is your, do you feel like, just how do you feel about AI? We'll go from there. I have something more to say. But...
Yeah. I've had this conversation, and I see AI as a tool, not the tool. Do I agree with all of it? No. Is it killing the world? All this other stuff, I guess. But my thing is always like, I come from an engineering background, and I tell people, and I've been telling people this, and people have argued with me since 2017. They would argue with me about me being like, hey, there's a lot of stuff coming. We ought to start learning these things. I shouldn't have to learn this, and I don't want to do this. And people argue about, I'm getting to where I'm going. People argue about, hey, you didn't put your cart back in the parking lot. Those people are terrible people. And I'm like, you do realize that the engineer or somebody can make something to where it'll just make a whole rail to where they go back. And so that will take the job from the person that goes out and gets the cart. It'll make it easier to where they can do other things, but that'll take it from them. I've worked in companies working with robots, and this is what I always tell people. Everybody is bothered by AI, like especially artists and everybody and stuff. But you're not bothered by them things. You're not bothered by them cars, them trains, them the kiosks you use, the backpacks you got on your back, the iPads. You're not bothered by any of those. You do realize all of this was made by some form of artificial intelligence, some form, because I've seen it. I've built whole lines that 20 people would work on. I'd work on whole lines, programming the robot to pick up the stuff, whether it's a rear differential, whether it's brake pads, whether it's your car's cameras. I've worked on lines that replaced 20 people, and then it took one person to run this whole machine because the robots and everything else to do it. And you hop in your car and you drive off and you do it. So my thing is always, where does the problem begin? Are you fine with it as long as you don't see it and it's not coming for anything that you care about? Because
is it the demand, or is it the actual product? Basically,
you hop in your car and you be like, man, let me use Google Maps. You just put the map person out of business. So we were fine with that. You were fine with that until it comes to something that you care about. Now, I understand you being upset, but my thing is, where's the line? Where is the line? Where is the line? Where is it? Because the food you eat comes from artificial intelligence, because they got PLCs and programs that keep these lines going and everything. They got whole programs that pick up the stuff, that move the food, that do this, like all of this. So my thing is, from my jiu-jitsu background, I heard a coach once say, he asked somebody about that. He was like, hey, do you live in a tent in the middle of the woods? So what you complaining about? Like, do you live in a tent that you made yourself in the middle of the woods? And do you handle all of that stuff yourself? Because if not, what are we really complaining about? So
I guess I can see that.
So when he said that, I was like, that, and I know it sounds crazy, but I'm like, okay, so do I agree that a person should be making AI art and saying this is mine? Not really, but if you're an artist and you're working with some other stuff, and there might be things that you don't know how to do, and you can have the AI help you out with certain things, like you could say, hey, I know how to color and do certain stuff. Can you give it I'm doing all the art myself, but can you give it a specific background with this or with these colors, or give me this type of perspective shot with what I'm doing? Then you do what you're going to do. And also it's a thing where it's like, it ain't going nowhere. That like that all the hollering and gnashing of teeth with is killing the environment, is this and that and blah 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 blah. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. And my thing is, it's using up so much water, but you do realize that all of the AI stuff, from an engineering background again, all of that comes from them same chips and graphics cards that you've been playing on your PCs forever. That's like, all of it comes from that. A lot of it is a bunch of graphics cards that folks have been using on their, just a little souped up and put in a different way. And I'm like, and so my thing is always like, when the complaining happens, where do we draw the line? So when we draw the line, it's like, it's using up water, but we watch Americans and everybody waste water and stuff all the time. Just waste it in your house, in other people's houses, in the city. The city just waste and do all kind of stuff. Don't drain the spots correctly, so then the water comes back up and messes us up and floods us out and everything. Like, so many things, but it's like, that's the problem. So that's my rant on that, bro. I see it as a tool, not the tool. And I don't think it's going anywhere, because these people are about to put a whole bunch of money. If you listen, because they have a lot of like forums, like tech forums and stuff, some down in Florida, overseas. You can catch some of the interviews that some of these people are talking about. It ain't going nowhere. And the other thing is also, we complain about it, but have you noticed since that new version of Sora that came out? Mm-hmm. Have you noticed all of the videos that come out? And like, we're not talking about from the art side. the art, like, this is terrible. We talking about regular people that you know, family members, regular people that's not on the art side that we're on. Have you noticed that most of these people just watch these videos, and everybody it's just becoming normal. And so,
I've seen people make fake WWE Tupac videos.
All of it, and that's just trifling. That is trifling. It's like, okay, this is trifling. So I do agree some of that is trifling. But what I'm saying is, people that don't have that, that's not on that side, they don't care. And I know it sucks, and it's been a thing where they want the art, not the artist. Like even if it's drawing, whether it's writing, everything, they want the art, not the artist. And AI gives them a way to have that. And that's why that's on the end where I'm like, I don't agree with it. So I'm I don't know what it's going to be, but the people that consume and watch things, they don't care. They don't care if it was done with AI. They don't care if the hand is holding the bag, but the bag is actually floating in the sky, but everything in their brain is fulfilling everything else. We already know that from animation. We already know that from, if you do something that look like a person, the person's brain will fill in the rest, unless it's just so bad that it makes you disjointed and you're like, oh man, there's something wrong. So right now, I feel like it's not going anywhere. It's a tool that people can use. You can't use it for everything. But it can also be helpful for the things that you need, and also learning. I'm man, I don't care what damn person on the internet say. I don't care what they say. They can be mad. They can be like, Matt, you this and that. I don't care. I have been on there in some of these things, and it has helped me learn so many things a lot faster because I can tailor it to what I'm trying to learn. And it's like, when it comes to like numbers, when it comes to values of things and stuff, for my like real estate side and other stuff, it has helped me speed past a lot of other things, because the questions, I don't have to search all over the place. I don't have to buy somebody's random course. I can just go on the AI and talk to it, and it'll break down everything that I need to do, to the point where I can make a lot of people that do things a certain way, I can make them mad and make them obsolete, because I can just go on the AI and ask it how to do the thing, and it'll give me all the steps on how to do the thing. And if I follow those steps, I will get a specific outcome that I was looking for. Mm-hmm. So much so that the people that have been doing a thing for years on end, they'll be mad at me because I learned how to do something quicker than what they thought other people could do, just because of using the AI and doing some research behind that to make sure that the AI is correct.
I was just thinking that.
Just in case it's just telling me something crazy. So that whole I'm not going to use it thing, and I ain't this and that, I ain't with it.
Yeah, AI really, it's funny when you're saying all this about with AI, because like I think AI is one of those things. Like I feel, because obviously we're both creatives. Like I feel similar. I feel just like how a lot of other creatives, when it comes to like, hey, I don't think AI can replace creativity. No. I definitely don't think it can do that. Do I think that? I definitely don't think that AI should be copyrighted, like somebody copyrighting, AI material. I don't think that either. No. But I think in some ways we should learn to use it as a tool, and not in a tool as like, for example, I'm not saying like, just so for the artists out there, because in case they're ready to, come at me, which pitchforks and that, I'm not saying replace it in terms of like even getting designs, but AI might be useful. Let's say you're not somebody who draws, to have come up with a mock-up so that I can take it to an artist that I know and be like, I'm trying to get something of this type of effect. Can you add your unique spin and, make something original out of this? Mm-hmm. As opposed to, because then I think it kind of narrows things down. Because one thing a lot of writers are famous for is maybe, saying what they want, but it never, but then it always changes. And the artists are like, wait, like what you're saying doesn't exist. So I feel like it kind of cuts out a little bit of the fluff between both parties. So it's like, if we can learn how to use it as a tool, because you're right, it's not going anywhere. At this point, I think that at some point it will calm down a little bit, But right, you don't think so at all.
No. It's gonna keep going and keep getting better and stuff. But the thing for me is, I agree with you. I ain't mad at that. But the reason why I don't worry about it like taking over anything, because human beings are creative. Like human beings are creative, and everything is all over the place. This is just a bunch of stuff that people done created that AI is just taking from a bunch of stuff that we've already created, and it doesn't take into consideration the wild stories that we tell. Plus, AI's main thing is to get you the answer as quick as possible. So even if you try to use it to do something, it's going to be garbage. Like if you try to use it to just straight up just write, the AI is like, I'm trying to finish this as fast as I can. So if you're like, hey, I need this, the AI will put it in there, but one thing might be a sentence or so, or it might be briefly mentioned, and then it's like, hey, I'm done. Here you go. How you like that? And it's like this isn't what I want. It's like so its whole thing is get you the answer that you want as fast as I can, and I'm going to cut out certain things if need be. If you're trying to write a story and you like, hey, I'm gonna use AI,
an answer calculator.
They're like that's not gonna happen. And then even with the art thing, if you don't have certain things in place to really make it make sense, it's not going to work. But it's like, well, it'll work, but it'll be able to be seen to where it's like, it's not, this isn't good. But or I know that's AI. But if an artist that does most of the heavy lifting does like a bulk of the art, the line work, the backgrounds, the other stuff, and they be like, hey, I take care of this, but don't touch all of my other stuff. Just do not touch anything that I created, and it helps out certain things. You may not know that it was used, the AI used it, because that person did most of the heavy lifting. So I think it's going to ramp up a lot more, because everything is just going to be easier to work with. Like I said, when it comes to in art, it may not be as much, but other sections of the world, it's going to ramp up a lot more, because it is extremely helpful when it comes to certain things, because it's so much so that now that people want to start trying to sell you all kind of AI courses, and I did this and that, and when the goofy thing is like, I can go on the AI and talk to it myself and get that same thing. So I think it's really going to wrap up. I hopefully, I don't believe in laws. I don't believe in, hey, government, add more laws. But I do think that something is going to have to be done with some of the stuff, because like you're talking about, like the Tupac stuff and everything. I'm like, this is goofy. This is a little bit much. I don't like the idea of y'all being able to do this with a person or to a person, because it's just going to get goofy, and people just going to use it for frivolous, dumb mess. That's going to mess people over. So again, I don't believe in the laws and stuff, but something's going to have to be done. It's going to have to be blocked or something. But yeah, I hope it's a tool, not the tool. That's how I look at it. It's a tool, not the tool.
Okay. Now we're pretty much at the last part of the this interview, but I got to ask you our traditional, most well-known question. Our Thanos question is what I like to call it. What is your end game? What do you, when you look at your entire creative career, and your ambition, how do you want your career either to be remembered, or how do you want it to end up?
Long term, I'm in it for a long term. That's why I'm trying to learn everything. But I would like to, and I think a lot of this would be for a lot of people, that it reaches the people it needs to reach, and it lives on longer than me. And it may take a while for that to happen. I think one of the things that we forget with art and stuff, whether it's books, whether it's cartoons, whether it's music, whatever, sometimes it takes years for somebody to come back and get it. And that's the important thing of what I was talking about learning what you're doing and being able to put it out yourself and not waiting for somebody else. It might be 30 years. It might be 50 years to the future, and then somebody come back and be like, "Hey, this book, well, Voidbeast came out. My kids is gone, and and then it just blow up, and people like it, and they understand it, and everything was good, and all this other stuff." So
everybody gonna act like they were on it day one. Like,
and it's like it was 50 years ago. Nobody was reading this when I came out. Like, if you notice how many writers this happens to, and then like even now, it's even like with the music and certain scenes in movies, how now, because we can go back and see the stuff, a minute of it might get shared on the internet, and then people go back and watch the movie or something, and then everything just changes. So even with the internet, if you got it out there, it may take a while. You might not even be alive by the time it happened. But I hope that the things that I create will get to the people that it needs to get to, and they'll appreciate it, and it'll live on longer than me. But for me personally, going back to what I was saying, I know that I don't judge a thing because I don't know if it's good or not. But I also do want to get better at the craft that I'm doing. I'm not saying don't get better, because I do want to get better, because there's certain stories and lessons and ideas that I want to put in and get better at conveying those. And so I have to become a better writer and stuff like that, or get me a better team that can help me, and we make sure that we're hitting these points so that I can really get that point across, so it'll be impactful when it does get to the people that I wanted to get to 20, 30, 40 years. So hopefully my thing will live on a lot longer than me, and
rack up those Eisner Awards.
Yeah, enjoy it and understand it a lot more, even in the future. So my thing is, let me keep going for the next, because I'm 42 right now. So like, I plan on going until I'm 60 plus and 60, 70, 80 plus, and keep doing this thing. So whether I'm not perfect right now, but by the time I'm 60, 70, I'll be a lot better. And as long as I keep myself together, everything will be fine, and I can keep creating and stuff.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate it, Matt, for coming on today. You know, you're dropping some gems, and it's just interesting to hear your perspective on, everything. And of course, hearing more about Voidbeast. Where can everybody find you? And do you have any, actually, before we even get to that, I have one other thing to say.
Yeah.
Is Sable Con still happening?
Yes. We're having it December 6th here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
There we go. I just wanted to make sure. So you see that on the screen, folks, Sable Con. Go ahead.
Yeah. We're having it December 6th here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I have some of my cosplaying partners coming from North Carolina, who's Charlie Rockets and her team, JJ, Ebony, Diana, just a good group of folks that was coming through. And then I have some stand-up comedians and stuff. And then I have my vendors, a lot of the local vendors that have showed me a lot of love out here in Milwaukee and everything. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Okay. And where can we find your latest projects?
Everything is at akachicomics.com. That's AKACHI comics.com. All my books, Sable Con sign up stuff, all of that is there at akachicomics.com.
Okay, all right. And folks, make sure you go ahead, check. I'm going to put the link down below. Make sure, please, pick up a copy of Voidbeast. I have a copy. I'm not just saying that. I actually have a copy. I just don't have it on me right at this present moment, but it's really good. Make sure you support. If you're in, Milwaukee, go to Sable Con. Even if you're not in, Milwaukee, go to Sable Con. Make sure you support, show up. Great place to go. And then also, like I said, Voidbeast is a great comic, so make sure you guys support that as well. With that being said, one more couple quick announcements as usual. We have the let's see here. I'm almost missing my post. Here we go. Honeycomb Hideout, our sister podcast show. Think of it as Howard Stern for geeks. We talk about controversial issues. We talk about the state of the industry, all hosted by Joe Kane and Christine Kitchens. The Honeycomb Hideout, once again, the official Imaginos Workshop podcast. It is going to be down below for you guys to be able to check out. It is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major platforms, even on YouTube, I believe, as well. So you guys can check that out there and listen to the latest episodes. And then the last thing I have to say is we do finally have Origami Super Punch available for you guys to pick up. That's our anthology project with a collective of ongoing stories from 7 different creators. And we actually have the second one that's going to be coming out soon as well, but there'll be an announcement on that. But you can find Origami Super Punch on Indie Planet. There will be a link down below for that, so make sure you guys pick that up as well. With that being said, once again, thank you so much, Matt, for coming on. Do you have anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I appreciate you having me. Folks, check out Sable Con, check out akachicomics.com. We'll have more animations coming up. It'll mainly be Sankara and Ashbreaker stuff, but I'm working on that, and we'll have it out when we have it out. But I appreciate you having me, man.
Well, thank you for coming, and make sure you guys subscribe. If you haven't been subscribed to this, hit the bell so you get notifications, because we do have another episode coming out in the next 2 weeks. And then also like the video, because that always helps us. One of the best ways to support us is being able to like the video, because it helps the algorithm. But in any way, guys, we will see you in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for watching.